everyone, Mr. Machado here with another video for you to keep learning from home. Before I start today's video, I have to share a special message with all of you guys. And that message is actually right here on my t-shirt. It says, I love Chelsea. I love Chelsea. That's a message from me and all of your teachers. We really love every single one of you and we miss you guys so much. We miss seeing your faces every single day in school, but we also know that the most important thing right now is for us to stay at home, be safe, and be healthy. So we are happy that every single one is doing that right now. We can't wait until we can see you guys again. Hopefully it's going to be next school year. And when you go back to school, you are going to be on the next grade level, which is super exciting. So that's why it's very important for you to remember every single thing you learned this school year. Today's topic is vocabulary. You already know that vocabulary are the important words, the fancy words that we should use when we are talking about a certain topic. So there are vocabulary words about every single thing. Today's topic is math. We are going to be talking about graphing and we are going to be reviewing all the vocabulary words that I should be using when I'm talking about graphs. You already learned about graphs. You already know all the different types of graphs there are. So all we are going to do today is review that information and make sure that those words are nice and fresh in your brain. So when we are talking about graphing on the next grade level, you have all that information right there ready to go. But what is a graph? Well, a graph is a way to show and compare data. And that's our first vocabulary word. The word data means information. It's just a fancier way to say information. And we just reviewed that a graph is something that I use to show or compare data. So I use a graph to show or compare information. It can be information about anything. Maybe you want to collect information. You want to collect data about how many Skittles come in a little bag. Maybe you want to collect data on what is the favorite food that your family enjoys. It can be about anything. So graphs can be used to show data, to show information about any single topic. We are going to review 3 different types of graphs. The first one is a line plot. So take a look on the graph right there on the left side of your screen. This is a line plot. A line plot is a graph on a number line. The X above each of the numbers show how many pieces of data apply to that number in the graph. So when I'm looking at the line plot, I should be looking at the title. The title tells me what is that line plot about. So the important thing for you to remember about a line plot is that the axes have to be aligned and they have to be the same size. The next type of graph we are going to review is a pictograph. Maybe in first or second grade, you used to call this graph a picture graph. But again, we are reviewing vocabulary and we want to make sure that we sound as mathematicians. We sound as like an expert and we should be using the right name for this graph. So this graph is called a pictograph. So what is a pictograph? A pictograph, it's a graph that uses symbols or pictures to represent and compare data. A picture graph or pictograph has a key. That's the important thing about the pictograph. The key always tells you how many of each kind that symbol, that picture will represent. And the last type of graph that we are going to review is a bar graph. A bar graph, it's a type of graph that uses bars of different lengths or heights to represent or compare the data. The numbers along the side of the bar graph, it's called a scale. The scale helps show how many each bar represents. Okay, so those are the 3 different types of graphs that you learned, 3 different ways for you to show data, for you to show information. But we also know that most of the times when I have a graph in front of me, I might have some questions. I might have to answer questions about the data that I see, about the information that I have right there. So let's practice that right now. The first one we're going to practice is the line plot. So the first step, I'm going to read the title. I want to know what the graph is about. Books read by students. And if I look at the bottom, I can see it says number of books. So if I look at number 1, how many students read 1 book? There are three X's right there. So I can see that 3 students read 1 book and so on. So let's read the question and let's try to answer the question together. How many students read 4 or more books? Well, the first thing that I like to do is I like to look at the numbers that they are talking about. So they are talking about 4 or more books. So I'm not going to look at 1, 2, or 3. How many students read 4 books? Only 1. How many students read 5 books? 4 students. So I know that the word more tells me to add. So now that I have that information, I can write my equation and I can solve the problem. 1 student read 4 books plus 4 students who read 5 books equals 5. So how many students read 4 books or more? 5 students read 4 books or more. So now let's take a look at a pictograph. Let's take a look at the title so we understand what is that pictograph about. Baskets of apples picked. So I see some name of students, some name of kids, and I also see the pictures. When I see a pictograph, the first thing I do is I have to look at the key. So I see that each one of those circles represent 2 baskets. Okay, let's read the question. How many more baskets did Nicole pick than Matthew? Well, when I have a pictograph, the first thing I like to do is count all the data, all the information I have in front of me. So I'm going to look at the first student, the first kid there, Maurice. How many baskets did Maurice collect? Did Maurice pick? So I look at there and I can see 4 different pictures. Does that mean that Maurice picked 4 baskets? No, it doesn't, because I have to look at the key. Each one of those circles equals 2 baskets. So I have to skip count by 2. So let's do that with Maurice together. 2, 4, 6, 8. So Maurice collected 8 baskets. So I'm going to put that number right after Maurice's pictures, and I'm going to do that with every single one of the other friends. So I have all the information, all the data right in front of me. Now I can look at the question and I'll remember that the words how many more tells me to subtract. So now I have the numbers for Nicole, which is 12 baskets. I skipped count by 2. And I have the numbers for Matthew, which is 8 baskets. So now I can subtract. I can write my equation, and I know that in subtraction, the big number always goes first. So 12 take away 8 equals 4. How many more baskets did Nicole pick than Matthew? Nicole picked 4 more baskets than Matthew. You see how I get all the words from the question to write my complete sentence? That's how I do it. Now let's take a look at the last type of graph, which is the bar graph. Types of trees in the park. So I know this graph is going to be talking about different types of trees. What kinds of trees are they talking about? Let's look at the bottom. They give me the types of trees they're talking about. Oaks, pines, and maple trees. Let's take a look at the question. How many trees are there all together? So again, the first thing I like to do is look at the information that I have. So I'm going to look at the bars, and I'm also going to look at the scale and try to figure out the numbers for every single one of those types of trees. So first I'm going to look at the oak tree. How many oak trees are there? If I look at the scale, the oak tree stops at the 6. So I know that I have 6 oak trees, I have 4 pine trees, and I have 8 maple trees. So now I can look back at the question and think about which operation I'm going to do. How many trees are there all together? I know the word all together tells me to add. And there are 3 different types of trees. There are 3 numbers that I found. So those are the 3 numbers that I'm going to add. So now I can write my equation. 6 plus 4 equals 10. 10 plus 8 equals 18. How many trees are there all together? There are 18 trees all together. So that's it. That was a quick review of all the words we should be using when we are talking about graphs, when we are looking at data and try to answer questions. So now it's time for our exit ticket. I don't know if everybody watched the movie this weekend, but the movie was about Ian and Barley, 2 brothers that went on an adventure to find Phoenix gems. They wanted to bring back magic. They ended up finding it. I don't want to spoil the end, but anyways, let's read the exit ticket. Ian and Barley figure out a way to create more Phoenix gems, and they want your help to find out which one is the most popular color. Your job is to go around your house and ask all your family members which one of the 3 options below they like better. You are going to drag the axis to the right spot to complete your line plot. So all you're going to do is drag all those red axes that you see on the left to the right color. So you're going to go to your mom, for example, and say, hey mom, which one of these colors do you like better? Blue, green, or purple? And your mom might say purple. So you are going to drag the X all the way to the purple, okay? There are 8 X's right there. If your family has 8 people, great, you're going to use all of them. If your family has less than 8 people, so you're not going to use all of them, and that's okay. It doesn't matter how many X's you use, as long as you ask everyone in your house and you bring the X's back to complete your line plot. So that's it for today, friends. I hope you enjoy reviewing some of the vocabulary words we use when we're talking about graphing, and I hope to see you guys next time with another video for you to keep learning from home. Now, stay home, be well, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.